which I'll stop, and then we'll get started with the Dream Team session tonight on the 18th of May 2023. Oh, maybe there's a lot of people watching YouTube tonight. A little bit slow to start up this evening. Okay, there we go. We're just about nearly there, and we'll do some introductions and say hi and see how everybody's doing, and then we'll get started. Okay, that's that. Let me just pause that and come back to you over on Zoom. Right. Okay, we got it. Good evening to you. Then let's go to Elise first of all. Good evening to you, Elisa Peter. How are you this evening?
Hello. Oh, we are great. We have been so busy today, going around with a client and looking for nice houses all around here in the center of Portugal. Yeah.
Fantastic. And that's where you are in the center of Portugal, in your country home this evening, by the look of it.
Yes, you see it from our...
Yeah, very nice too. Okay, it looks real cozy. Thank you for being here tonight. Tell us a little bit about what you do, if you will.
What we do is we help clients, like we are kind of buyer's agent, and we plan everything for them before they come to Portugal, and even after they are here or not. They can even buy on, like we are their eyes here in Portugal to buy a property. But normally before they come, we have lots of meetings with them. We help them to identify the region where they want to be, and also to identify the property. In case they come to Portugal like 1 week or something, we help them to visit few properties, putting in contact with like Daniel, for example, as a lawyer, and other partners, that we make it sure that all the package is complete, and also with some team members from the Dream Team.
Fantastic. So let's go. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Peter may pop in as well. Thanks for being here. You mentioned Daniel. Let's go to Daniel, I think in the capital, from Reis Pelicano. How are you, Daniel?
Hello, hello. Yes, I am from Lisbon today. And I'm quite all right. Thank you for asking. Although the windy days in Lisbon, they've messed up some of my fruit trees outside, but apart from that, all good. And what Elise was saying is absolutely right. I did work several times with Elise with mutual clients, and it has been a pleasure to assist people buying property here in Portugal.
Great. And is there anything from the legal world you'd like to share with us? And we also extend into politics when we have you here, Daniel. What's going on in the world of Portuguese politics today?
Well, things are a little bit on fire in the parliament at the moment. The Ministry of Infrastructure is actually being heard at the moment in a special commission. Oh, wow. And it's interesting because he is basically telling that his right hand, the guy that was his right hand, is lying. And it was the topic that we covered last time, that the guy was really unhappy about being demoted, that he thrown the bicycle into a window. So it was all fun and games, and now it's on a special commission to be investigated. And I was actually seeing the special commission before coming here, and I was having fun, definitely.
Amazing. So that's what you've been watching, keeping an eye on that. What is it with bicycles and Portuguese politics? That's the metaphor that the president's been using about the economy, which is performing extremely well. 3rd or 4th out of the 27 EU countries. He's saying when you're riding a bike, you've got to keep pedaling. Others aren't so. Others say it's an exercise bike and it's not going anywhere. Maybe we shouldn't get into that right now. But an interesting time for sure, right? With Portuguese politics. Okay, and all the bicycle analogies. All right, Gilda, good evening to you, Queen of the Visas. How are you, Gilda Pereira, this evening?
Hello.
Hello there. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm not Gilda. I'm Mary. I'm replacing Gilda today.
Oh, Mary, is this an AI
thing?
How does this work?
She couldn't make it today.
And this is cutting edge artificial intelligence stuff, is it?
Yeah, more or less.
More or less, mais ou menos. Okay, excellent. So I'm sure you'll do a fantastic job.
Because I'm wearing glasses. I look different today. It was a joke.
You threw me a little bit, I have to say. It isn't Mary, everyone. For anyone else who might have been thrown by that ruse, Gilda is here. What's happening in the world of visas? There's a petition, isn't there, with this reunification business with CEF. A few people who have felt left out, Gilda, have got a petition up. And can you report on that and anything else that's happening at CEF HQ this week?
Yes, it looks like finally CEF is going to be extinguished.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least the law has been sent to the president now. So it looks like it's going to happen finally
Right.
after
That's
3 years.
as in dotting the I's and crossing the T's as a legislative procedure, the extinction will occur.
Yeah.
Okay. Will that make any difference operationally, do we think? Or is it just a kind of almost like a philosophical note?
No, I think it's going to make a difference.
Oh, okay. What? Because
Yeah.
the employees will really feel that it's real? Is that the idea?
Yeah, because they are going to kind of change everything, and the employees and the places, and it's going to be lots of change.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Which is going to be extinguished first, the golden visa or CEF?
I don't know, Daniel.
Okay, we could run a book on this. Okay, but they are both on death row. We could put it that way. Can't
Yes.
we?
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Well, I would say it's going to be CEF, because the law is already on the hands of the president to be either vetoed or going to the Constitutional Court or to be approved. And the law for the golden visa is going to be voted tomorrow. So it hasn't reached the hands of the president yet. So I think that CEF will probably go first in the golden visa, but let's see.
Okay, absolutely right. And we'll keep on top of that on these Dream Team sessions. How exciting. Thank you very much, Gilda. Is there anything else you want to report from the world of visas this evening?
Yes, there was a communication that was very frustrating for many people. It was about the CPLP resident permit. That many people were happy because it was announced that it was going to be a very good thing, that people would get the resident permit in 72 hours.
Yes.
But this week they have announced that people with that resident permit were not allowed to circulate on the Schengen area.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, that's a bit of a bombshell, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
And why have they done that? Is that because those people who were circulating with that paperwork were running into all sorts of problems that CEF didn't want to deal with?
I think it's because European Union said, Portugal, this was your deal with those countries. We don't have anything to do with that. So now you deal with it.
Wow. Okay. All right. So that
but
is.
This is just my guess.
And what you're referring to is the visa, the new style of reunification, basically, yeah? And that now has run into its own problems.
No, no, it's all the visas and the resident permits that people applied for the CPLP to go faster.
CPLP as in the former colonies of Portugal. Sorry,
yes.
I was yes, got my acronyms misunderstood there. Okay, so that is quite a difficulty, isn't it? That's a significant number of people as well. So CEF have got that to deal with at the moment. And I mentioned also the petition from people who have been left behind, feel like they've been left behind, certainly by CEF with reunification. Do you think they have much of a chance of changing things with their petition?
Yes. Yes,
okay. It's worth signing that, and that is circulating. Okay, if anybody wants further details of that, Portugal News were covering that. The Portugal News English language news source there in the Algarve and all over the country. Anything else, Gilda, from CEF and the world of visas?
There are many consulates without vacancies. And it's becoming more and more corruption around the vacancies for the Portuguese embassies. And that's very sad for me as a Portuguese citizen that is happening. But
as in, by that you mean the mishandling of people's appointments and the availability of appointments is not.
Yes.
Okay, a matter of national embarrassment. Okay, well, let's hope then that the extinction will send a jolt through the whole system. and that we will get the long-awaited improvements we've been looking for. And I noticed that SEF have been busy with public relations and promising improvements for sure. So their PR and marketing side is definitely putting stories out into the news at the moment. Thanks for the time being, Gilda, and we will of course find out how Mandela is at around past the hour. Let's go to Nuno now, who's here from Winsurance. Good evening to you, Nuno. How are you?
Well, so I'm excited, very excited, because I'm having a crazy week, more crazy than usual. I'm more busy than usual, but this Saturday, my oldest daughter will be her wedding. So, and she is we have like a daddy and daughter, very close relation. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for
How
this
amazing.
moment of our life.
Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm not sure what one is meant to say in Portuguese culture. You're not meant to wish people a happy birthday before the day. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm meant to do with the wedding, but it sounds like a lovely occasion that will be happening this weekend for the whole family. So have a wonderful weekend. And yes, so obviously you're having a busier week than normal. Anything we can help with? I mean, you're here to help other people, but I feel like we should ask you if there's anything we can help with. Can we come round and help mix cocktails or anything like that this week?
No, it seems no.
Carl, no. I think I know the answer. We can give him some money.
Yes. Of course. Is it the same custom in Portugal? Is Daddy paying for this?
Deal, Jerry. I'll call you after the webinar.
Okay. All right. Direct messages flying back and forth from Jerry at Lulu this evening on the mention of money. Oh, so we'll have a wonderful, beautiful weekend, a weekend to remember, of course, for the family. Well, thank you for being here tonight. I mean, only a couple of days to go, of course. And where's the happy event taking place? In Lisbon?
No. It's near Pegões.
Okay, Pegões. I only know that as a wine.
Ribatejo.
Oh, how wonderful. Okay, Ribatejo. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, we'll have a superb weekend. I think you might have. It's a bit mundane by comparison, but I think you've got a bit of an announcement from the insurance world as well. An update for us
for the insurance world.
Do you have things to tell us from insurance as well?
Yeah, actually, it's not properly about the insurance world, but it has connection with the insurance world. So. And I expect that will not take 3 years long, like SEF's extinction. So it was approved. The waive of the mandatory usage of the green letters, little square stamped on the front windshield glass.
Oh yes.
So, but be aware that it's still mandatory to use it. So don't rely on some easy informations on the internet. So it was approved to submit for approval the extinguished law. So waive the mandatory use of this little square of the green letter. But it's still mandatory to use it. Otherwise, the police can fine you from 250 euros to up to 1,250. So
good heavens, right? And what you're referring to there, because I think you got everybody's attention when you mentioned.
Yeah. So it's about the car insurance. Car insurance has an insurance certificate, which we call the green letter, which is not green anymore since last July, I believe, but we still call green letter. And it has 1 or 2 little squares on it that we need to split and stamp on the car's windshield front glass.
So it's best to just cut that little square out of your insurance paperwork and stick it in the windscreen until further notice, right?
Otherwise, yes. So don't rely yet on some information that are on the internet. Yeah. So wait a little bit more.
And may I add, because I've been fined myself for this, that you have to keep the counterfoil or the main letter in your dashboard as well inside the vehicle. I was told by the police officer that it's 80 for not having that one, and 200 if you don't have the one in the windscreen. So make sure you've got everything, basically, your filing cabinet of paperwork, and don't take any notice of the internet until it's obvious that your Portuguese neighbor down the road is not having the green letter square thing in the window. Keep it there. Elise, were you wanting to add something to that? You leant forward as though you had a question about insurance. Perhaps not. Oh, yes. Sorry, I thought you wanted to add something or ask something of Nunu about that. No, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But so yeah, keep those green squares in the window. Anything else from insurance there, Nunu?
No, just some clarification about the waiting period. It's a current question.
Yeah.
Every week, maybe not every day, but every week, some people have some confusion about the waiting period and how it works, and people think that because we are under the waiting period that we are not covered, so it's not that the case. And also, usually on any kind of insurance, health insurance, even though that we have waiting periods, that are situations that the waiting period is waived, like medical assistance due to an accident. Okay, so talk with someone that understands the insurance policy that you are buying. Do a lot of questions. Try to read the full terms or the wordings, which I assume that it's hard. Yes. But yeah, do questions. Basically this.
Question everything. Good advice there. Well, great information this evening. Thank you from both medical and driving this evening. Susie's in from an Airbnb in Paso Robles in California. Laurie in. Good evening to you, Laurie. We'll want to know how Mandela's doing, I know, from Scottsdale, Arizona. James is in from Estoril. Beautiful sunset tonight. I'm sure it is beautiful over the Atlantic there. Yatso, hello from Seattle. We had our interesting VFS. Okay, interesting in inverted commas. Do you want to say more, Yatso, with VFS in San Francisco on the 15th? Oh, Yumiko, hello. Good evening to you. And hi, everyone from Derek. Just spent 4 wonderful days in Lagos. Day 58 of 60 for our visa. Praying Queen Gilda can work miracles from Linda and Derek in Glasgow. Gilda, over to you. You have put your hands together in an emoji for sure inside the chat there. Anything else you want to add to that?
I think everything's going to be fine.
That's what we needed to hear. Thank you very much. All right. We'll come back to you with more visa questions, Gilda. Laurie, thank you for this quote. We're doing quotes as well now, it seems. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Will Rogers. That might be for the president, I think, in the bicycle business. Okay. First visa question, then, Gilda. D7 visa appointment in San Francisco. This is from Gail. When we made our appointment online, we signed up under the category long stay, as that is what category I saw referring to passive income retirement visa. Is that the correct category, or should we have signed up under a different one, or is that a problem? We are signed up with EI and working with Marianne in the Porto office, and the D7 appointment in San Fran is on June the 8th. Those drop-down menus, have they done the right thing there?
I don't usually submit, so I don't know in practice what it shows to submit the visas.
Okay,
so they should have asked Mariana.
And I think a call with Mariana to put your mind at rest will be no bad thing. Of course, she's available too, Gail, to answer such questions.
Yes, but it's a long stay. It's a long stay visa. Also, I saw here that someone is talking about a D visa, a national D. It can also be a D visa. D visa, long stay. It doesn't make a difference. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. Also, because if you submit if you try to book through passive income and what it showed was long stay, I think it's going to be right, but we have to check because it changes from consulate to consulate, from VFS to VFS. But I can check that, or you can check that with Marianne tomorrow.
I would do that, Gail. Put your mind at rest. You're using the
Yeah.
professionals, and part of that, of course, is to give them a call and say, have we done the right thing here? So yeah, put your mind at rest tomorrow. Thank you, Gilda, for that. And you help here with some of the finance issues that Jerry was talking about. In San Antonio, this is for you, Nuno. In San Antonio, in the Hispanic culture, there is a wedding dance, and attendees pay the bride and groom to dance with them, and this helps pay for the honeymoon. So there you go. You could instigate that and say it's a long-standing Portuguese tradition that some people might not have heard of, but it goes back to the Galician Empire, or say something like that, and you'll be fine as a little bit of extra fundraising at the weekend. Also, Gail, you again, thank you for this, Gail. And you, I think when Nuno started talking about green letters, you were concerned, was that the green jacket that one has to have in the car in the case of emergency? Thank you, Wilson, for your answer. But you do have to have the green jacket as well, don't you, Nuno?
Yes, yes. If you are,
right, or every passenger.
If you are on the road and your car just breaks down and you need to leave the car to put the, what's the name in English of that triangle?
Yep, triangle will do. The hazard triangle, we'll call it.
Yeah,
tonight.
okay. And if you left the car without wearing the vest, the green vest, so you could be fined. So have it inside the car to just wear it, and then you can leave the car. Otherwise, you could be fined. Okay. And this is applied to everyone that leaves the car, not only the driver. Okay.
So a jacket, a yellow or green vest, or actually, what's the official color? Like a high vis. It's got to be a high vis, isn't it? For each of them. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Wow. Well, we'll stay with you for a moment, Nuno, because I think this might have been Jerry. Did you want to say this yourself, Jerry, about sons and daughters?
Yes, sure. I was just reminded, Nuno, of the very old Irish saying, which goes something like, your son is your son until he takes a wife, but your daughter is your daughter for all of your life.
Oh, there you go.
No doubt about that, because I'm okay to talk about, because my son-in-law,
the new son-in-law, yes, yeah,
my son-in-law, he don't see this program, so but Anna sent me a video, a TikTok or Instagram video that basically says that she will be I will be always his man. Okay,
wonderful. I'm tearing up, Nuno. Stop it now. Okay. Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much. And the green, yes, we're still on green. It's just quite a conversation tonight, isn't it? The green vests, they are widely available, and you can get them. And we have quite a lot of Chinese shops. It's a thing here in Portugal, and you'll be able to get a green vest from many, and ACP. They're widely available, aren't they, Nuno?
Yes, but be aware that it's not enough to be green or yellow or orange, which are basically their colors. Right. They must have a specific category.
Oh, so for the reflectivity.
Yes. Okay. They must be certificated. So don't rely only on the color.
So they need to be of a European standard, presumably. I would say
yes.
Check the ACP website and go through the Expats Portugal Business Directory for that. I'm sure it will be on the ACP website what the right standard is to avoid fines with those jackets. Okay, great. I think we've dealt with that now, Gail, hopefully to your satisfaction. And please get those questions in now, everybody, because what happens is we get to about 9:45 and all the questions come flooding in, and then we have to finish at 10 because our wonderful dream team here, they're here between 9 and 10 of a Portuguese evening. And Nuno's got a few things to do as well, I'm sure, after 10 o'clock. So please get your questions in as soon as you possibly can. Thanks for the green update, Nuno, from Gail. Okay, we go to Tom, who's saying hi from Ohio. Good evening to you, Tom. I think this is for Gilda. So if I understand it correctly, once you get a residence card for Portugal, you can stay in Portugal as long as you like. But if you want to go to another Schengen country, then the 90 days in the 180 rule applies. or is travel forbidden, Gilda, at the moment with this? I think we're going back to the CPLP, and Tom might be getting this mistaken with other visa users, possibly. What do you think?
I think that if he has a resident permit as a card, he can travel
Yeah.
in the Schengen area.
Yes.
Because this CPLP resident permit is a paper.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's not a card.
That will, yes. So sorry for any confusion or concern caused for you there, Tom. This is not about a D7 visa, for example,
No.
or the one that you're likely to be using. If you need further clarification, let us know. When you do move about, though, are there any limits? Let's say you have a D7 and you want to go to Paris. How long can you stay in Paris for with your D7?
90 days.
90 days. So there you go. That might be what you were asking there. So it's the same as if you were coming into Portugal. You got 90 days to. That's enough time to enjoy Paris. I think come back maybe and then go next year again. Gilda, hi Gilda from G Raja. I got my temporary residence permit in January 23 through a D7 visa. What is the minimum number of months that I have to stay in Portugal till January 2025? Thanks, G Raja, asking that question.
The minimum?
Yeah, minimum number of months.
I'm going to say the other way around.
Right, okay, fair enough.
To renew the residence permit, he can only be out of Portugal 6 months in a row or 8 months interpolated during the time of the residence permit, which is during 2 years. Okay,
thank you very much. If you need any more clarification, G Raja, do let us know. Thank you for that, Gilda. I'd like to ask you a question, Elise. It's always interesting to talk to you and the buying patterns of your clients.
Yes.
Are there any new places that are up and coming that people should know about? You know, they're the usual suspects, aren't there? Obviously, Lisbon, Porto, Aveiro, Silver Coast here. Is there anything that's come onto the radar just recently that people might like to consider?
Yes, I see a big movement here in the center of Portugal. I already told this, I think, last time as well. By the way, today we were with a client and she was thinking about Tomar or Santarém, and now she came to this region here around Ferreira do Zezer, Pedrógão, more center. And we see a movement of lots of people coming, even young people with children, that they really want to start their lives here. We see a movement, even though the houses that we had, like, let's say 2-3 years ago, they were small villages here, and every village, they had 1 or 2 or 3 houses for sale. At the moment, it's getting worse to find good properties.
Really?
And also for renting, by the way, it is almost mission impossible.
Incredible. Some people call this the Jerry Lawler effect because Jerry is currently championing Central Portugal. Do you think some of the responsibility for this lies at your feet, Jerry?
Well, I'd like to think so. And if anybody wants to pay me commission for that, I'll be delighted to receive it. Okay, and I'll even pass them on to Nuno. But I think we're seeing that also. I think we're also seeing that from our members. There's a lot of interest in Central Portugal right now, probably because it offers good value for money. Yeah, and it's a nice place to live, Alice. Right? We're not quite neighbors, but we're not far
almost
away.
Yes, very close by the way, and you know, we have space. We still have lots of authenticity, and also price, what you just mentioned, properties, price-wise and quality. Of course, you have a lots of kind of properties where sometimes ruins that people really want to make them a very nice house. I had some clients in the past, they did it like the job from really the beginning, and they made it a very beautiful house on a special place. But you have also, like today, I have visited 8 houses, by the way, with my clients, and all of kind of houses and the range price, let's say, I mean, from 150 until 280,000, but really good houses that you can move in immediately.
Right. Excellent. Good to know that. And of course, on the 1st of June, that'll be the first Thursday of June, we'll have Hank and Trevor going head to head, representing Porto in the north and Lisbon and surrounding areas. And the winner of that will face Jerry on the first Thursday of July to see who's going to be champion for the best region to live in Portugal.
Unless they concede, Carl, which I think might happen.
Do you think so? Or those sleepless nights are getting to them already? All right. We'll see what happens with that. So join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun again. We'll find out how Mandela is as well now, because it's 1:30. How is he, Gilda? Did he? Yes. What? Hey, he seemed okay last week.
Yeah, he's fine.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. No news is good news. That's fantastic. Laurie will be happy to know that he's doing fine. Anyone else want to talk about their pets? I know, yeah. Oh, because the other 3 of you have pets as well. Can we have a pet update, Daniel? How's it going in your house with the dogs?
Oh, she is sound asleep.
Oh, or she was. Sorry about that.
She was.
As you were. Right. Okay.
Yeah, the big one.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Lovely to see your dog there. Nuno, the cats, how are they doing? Are they sensing different atmospheres and energies in the house with the big wedding coming up?
Oh, no.
I
I don't
care.
believe so.
Right.
No.
Right.
One is my wife's cat.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And the other one is my youngest daughter cat. So this cat she's always at on his room. So
okay, yes.
She never leaves.
Not really your pets then. Okay.
No.
But sounds like they're okay, curled up and really happy and not bothered about what's going on in the world. Typical cat behavior. What about you, Elise? How's your little dog?
She's doing the same as the dog of Daniel, I think. She's really, she's small, she's sleeping there, and now she's waking up. I don't know. Mika?
Funny, isn't it? We've got the attention of the world on you dogs, and they're happily snoring away and doing whatever.
There, on this.
Wonderful. Oh, it's tucked up there. Yes. Hello. Good evening. Carry on as you were. Go back to sleep. It's fine. Mummy's just doing a webinar. Thank you, Elise, for that. We haven't had any cats putting their bottoms in front of the Zoom cameras for a little while. They often do that, don't they? And tread all over the laptop. Okay, talking of pets, Gail's telling us that our pet sitters just got back from a scouting trip and thought they might like Valencia, Spain, but then they said they really love the central area of Portugal. So 2 more votes for Jerry there. And Gail, thank you for mentioning this. It's a matter of fact and record that the oldest dog in the world is Portuguese, 31 years of age, just celebrated last week in the Alentejo. And apparently lives off human food, not human remains, human leftovers from the dinner table. There's a good way of putting that, isn't there? None of your fancy pet food. This is a 31-year-old dog that escaped death as a puppy 31 years ago and still going strong here in Portugal. Fantastic. Happy birthday to that dog. Okay, with Elise talking about rentals and so on, Daniel, is there any developments on Mais Habitação, the whole housing crisis in Portugal? What are we hearing about that?
Well, that's what's going to be voted tomorrow, and that's why I'm under the impression that this will go down. The president will throw the diploma to the Constitutional Court because they still have things that are, at least in my opinion, unconstitutional in the diploma, and therefore this may be stuck for 2 or 3 more months in the Constitutional Court. If so, I will be happy on my hand because we'll have 3 more months of golden visa, so I can't complain. Let's see what the president does, especially now that they're having a row, the president and the prime minister. So this may be the case, but even without the row, I think that the diploma should be assessed and analyzed by the Constitutional Court just to see if it's up to spec to our Constitution. I don't think so. This is my legal opinion, but let's see if the president and eventually the Constitutional Court do agree with it.
He has a lot before him at the moment. I mean, is this normal? Because there was the very controversial euthanasia bill, which the Pope took offence to, as one might expect. There's mais habitation and the crisis of leadership in the country. Is this just normal? Is this what the president would expect to be dealing with, or is he dealing with an exceptionally high workload at the moment?
Well, at the current moment, the relations are tense, and I think that they will carry on being tense in the next few months, probably 1 year. And then it all depends on the polls, if the government sustains their predictions of vote, or if they go down and the president eventually decides to call a new election. But what the president said is that is going to be a bit more interventive in the Portuguese politics. He does talk a lot. He likes to intervene quite a lot. So it's a bit difficult to perceive how can he intervene even more, but still that's what he said. I don't think that he does have an extra load of laws to assess, but he has more contentious laws to assess. The most recent one is the tobacco law that the government is trying to put forward. And what people are complaining, I'm not a smoker, I never smoked in my life, I hate tobacco, but I do appreciate people having the freedom of doing their own choices, even if bad ones, as long as they don't smoke nearby me. That's basically the policy that I have.
Yes.
And what the government is trying to do is to ban the sale of tobacco in a lot of places like gas pumps and normal shops. And this may cause a problem for people living in the interior of the country, because they don't have what we call here tabacarias, the place where you buy tobacco.
Yes.
And if you need to travel 10 or 15 kilometers just to buy tobacco, this will create a gray market or even black market for tobacco. And I don't think this is the path forward. And this is another contentious law that will eventually go into the president's hands for him to or veto or eventually approve. So that's
he has got a lot on his plate, hasn't
another political road that the parliament is deciding.
Amazing, amazing. And also not to be able to smoke near the entrances of establishments like hospitals.
Correct.
Yeah.
With that, I do agree, to be honest, because I hate tobacco smoke. And hospital entrances, the restaurant entrances and things like that. Even the beach was being discussed. And to be honest, as a non-smoker, I would very much appreciate if I didn't have to put up with secondhand smoke. But it needs a balance needs to be reached, and probably the balance is tipping on the extreme in terms of not allowing people to do their own choices, even if bad ones, even if not healthy choices. Because if you go after this, you should go after fast food and other unhealthy practices that people have on their normal day-to-day lives. And this is not the type of politics that I like. People should be able to do their own choices, even if bad ones. That's my.
I'm with you, and so is Susie. I'm with you, Daniel. No one should be smoking right at the entrance to an establishment, and that's come from not being able to smoke inside. So they go to the nearest place they can smoke, I suppose, and that will be constantly challenged, I guess. So yes, a busy time for the president. He also said, interestingly, when he was talking about how the banks of Portugal might adjust interest rates on mortgages, that he was a confirmed tenant. He's a lifelong tenant, but is that because he gets a free house with his job?
Well, he does have a big palace at the moment, so he doesn't have the need of buying a house, and it's quite central. So he doesn't. He's not facing the problems of the Lisbon property market. Let us say.
Quite okay. All right. Well, yes, that hadn't occurred to me until I just uttered it then, that he was a confirmed tenant. But hopefully, fighting for the rights of tenants as well. Cheers, Daniel, on that. Much appreciated. I do love your political insights. Dino with a question for Gilda and a Botard Pellegrinos from Ubi Hominum as well. I'm not quite sure what that means, but Dino is asking you, Gilda, do you know if the consulate in the UK asks for a rental agreement for the D8? Now, let's go back to the D8 and the rental agreement requirement. It's not a legal requirement, is it? But you were saying that more and more consulates seem to be asking for it anyway.
Yes, that's true. But in the UK, the last ones we did, they only asked for 4 months, 4 months booking of a place.
So that's the answer for Dino Moreira. It would be that the consulate in the UK is asking for 4 months on your working experience there. Thank you very much. Anything else? Any other questions? Please get them into the chat now, because we are running out of time. We also have a question. Oh, we have a report back from Tom. Thanks for the clarification. I came in the middle of the discussion with the CPLP permit, and that stands, of course, I put that in the chat, the Common Community of Portuguese Language Countries, the CPLP. I'm sure that's a translation. Okay, Alan, Gilda, we had our VFS appointment on March the 20th. How long does it normally take to get a D7 approval? And you might say what the law is as well as what how long it actually takes.
Where was the appointment?
Alan, you're going to have to let us know. That is vital information, of course, but it was a VFS appointment, but I guess they're all around the world, aren't they? So, Alan, let us know where, and Gilda will reflect on locality there to answer that question. I'm starting to look at places, going back to Elisa's intel from the front line of property purchase. I'm starting to look at places along the IC9 highway between Lisbon and Sintra. My understanding is that the Amadora area is a little iffy by Portuguese standards. I wonder what that means. Maybe Elisa knows, but what about the rest of the zone? What would you say about Amadora? Does anybody else have a view on that?
I mean, Amadora is a kind of area beside Lisbon, and is between, let's say, Lisbon and Sintra, or Lisbon and around Odivelas. I can say it's a residential area where you have buildings, and I mean it's around Lisbon.
Okay, and what would you say in terms of its ranking, in terms of chicness, or somewhere to be avoided? I guess it's a mixed bag, isn't it? It sounds like it might be quite a big area.
You know, it's difficult because it is really difficult to say if it's good or bad, or depending on the taste of the people. But I mean, compare with, we never can compare. You have different areas of Lisbon and around Lisbon for different kind of clients. And if the client really would like to have more view about that, please contact me, and I can be very more open to understand what he's really looking for.
Okay, that's great.
But knowing that this neighborhood is good, the other one is not good, depending on perspective, to be honest. There are people, they really like Cascais, but there are people, they don't like Cascais. Then,
yes, true.
You know,
yes.
It is not really, I cannot say immediately it's a bad or a good neighborhood. No, depending on what he's looking for, and then I can really answer to him.
Thank you, Tom. Get in touch with Elisa Peter, a Portugal company. Nuno, however, might have a view on it. He was making faces as if he might have a comment about Amadora here. I don't know. Lisboeta, Nuno, what would you say?
So you can buy a house in Cascais, and if you don't like, easily you sold your house in Cascais.
Right.
You can buy a house in Amadora, and if you don't like, could not be so easy to sell your house in Amadora. Even though there are some places that is part of Amadora are in the area of Amadora, but are very good neighborhoods. Okay. So be attention, be aware of what location is. If it's in the center of Amadora, could not be so good. I don't know if it was because of this, but because of some crime, not so much nowadays, but maybe 10 years ago. But Amadora was and is the first city 100% under surveillance, video surveillance.
Okay.
So
you've given us quite a lot of information about
But I must say, Nuno, also the price of a house in Cascais is a completely different range price of
For sure.
And again, as what I say, the public or the people that will choose Amadora, and you are correct in a certain until a certain level, let's say, for example, selling a house in Cascais or in Amadora, depending really on the buyer. Yeah. And a really Portuguese medium range, he can maybe choose immediately Amadora because he can afford that. And at the moment, what we see is certain properties or a certain price of property is very difficult to find, even if it is in Amadora.
Great question, Tom Smith. Brilliant answers from Elisa and Nuno there. Really good, really good. Thank you very much for that. We have a question from Kiran. Hello, Carl and Gilda. If the Portugal Embassy in our country is not functional, and from what you were saying earlier on, Gilda, that would appear to be the case more and more often, but the main applicant for D7 visa has a resident card of another country where they have a Portuguese embassy, please see part 2. If the main applicant applies for the D7 from another country, please note that the dependents don't have the resident card, only the main person does. What do the dependents do for reunification? Are you getting the gist of that question, Gilda?
In that case, the main applicant will get the visa, and they will have to do the process of family reunification here in Portugal.
Okay, so that's a godsend in a way, isn't it? That the main resident or the main applicant has a residency elsewhere, far from a dysfunctional embassy. So I hope that helps to hear. Capricorn Chris is here. Hello everyone. Gilda, Daniel, Nuno, Carl, and Elise. And Alan is in New York. So how long a process is taking in New York at the moment, Gilda?
2 months and a half, 3 months.
2 months to 2 to 3 months there, Alan. Any more questions? Please get them in. My VFS appointment was in New York on March the 20th, March, April, May. Yeah, 2 to 3 months. So he's still within that kind of threshold there for New York by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, it's crunch time. Please get your questions in. We've got 12 minutes to go. And my final question of the evening is based on Ubi's input here over on YouTube. My belief is that one should have 2 to 4 places in Portugal rather than one overpriced posa pousada, which is how he's referring to it. What a great idea. And a lot of Portuguese families, I think Portuguese people do have access to a number of homes in the family. So I'm going to ask you, each of you panelists, the 4 of you, if you could choose 3 places to live in Portugal and have a house in each, what would they be? But we won't do that yet because we have more questions coming in. We have Kay Renee going through the San Francisco consulate for my D7. Can I present 6 months of accommodation? Is that going to fly?
No.
And sadly not. I wonder what's behind your question there, Kay Renee. What have you heard that's making you ask or say that? But it needs to be 12 months, right, Gilda?
Yes, because what's behind their thought is that you need to show and to have a lease agreement, and Daniel can also explain this. A lease agreement to live, according to the law, it needs to be 1 year lease agreement. So what they expect to see is at least 1 year lease agreement to make sure that that person is going to live in that place for 1 year, to make sure that that person will arrive and has a place to stay and will go to SEF with that lease agreement.
Okay. Did you want to add anything to that, Daniel?
Well, Gilda is absolutely right. Once you're discussing a rental agreement for habitation, the minimum it needs to be inserted in the contract is a year. And that's the reasoning behind the consulate asking for it. But in my opinion, it doesn't make a lot of sense because if you are asking for a visa abroad, it's quite difficult to obtain a rental contract. So it creates a bureaucratic mess without the need for it. Because once you come to Portugal and have the interview for the residency permit, then at that time, I do understand that they need a full year rental contract. But once you are requesting a visa, for me, it doesn't make any sense at all. But, well, this is my personal opinion on the situation.
Yeah, and we know that back then it wasn't like that.
Yep. Yeah. A few years back, you just had a booking in an Airbnb or in an hotel for 15 days, and this would be sufficient for you to obtain the residency visa.
The good old days. I remember those conversations, Gilda.
Yeah.
Airbnb. Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, happy times. Okay. Kay Renee, heard nothing, just wishful thinking. So yes, it's got to be the 12 months, Kay Renee. Thank you for your response on that. My goodness, yeah, Airbnbs where you could stay. Amazing. Okay, going back to Kiran, but Gilda, but you guys say that CEF doesn't have any reunification slots in Portugal, even for the future. So yes, your
Not for the future. They are going to come. We just don't know when.
There you go. Okay, so go through that process. Have the principal applicant go to where it's easiest, where they obviously where they are resident, and then follow a reunification process and deal with that as and when it unfolds and happens. And you won't be stopped really just because there aren't any reunification appointments at the moment. Doesn't mean there won't be in the future, and it doesn't mean you won't get a visa on that basis. So in a way, the embassies and VFS are creating the problem, aren't they, of sending people over on the reunification, and then once they get here, the people can't reunify legally officially because there aren't any slots to do so. But we hope that will change, right, Gilda, in the next few weeks and months.
Well, if they come with the reunification visa that they made now with the new law, people come with an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not going to be the case that we are discussing right now, because this person doesn't have the resident permit, so she cannot apply with the husband.
Oh, okay, all right.
So
okay.
She needs to come and wait here for the vacancy to open.
Yep.
Last time that vacancies open were in August.
Okay.
Like 6-7 months ago.
And the phone lines to CEF, when people are calling, there's no improvement with that. It just rings out, doesn't it? You occasionally get engaged. Most of the time, it just doesn't even connect. That's the case for most people, is it? Including yourself sometimes in your office.
Yes, I tried today. I waited for half an hour and then it just bling.
Disconnected. That sound, it's an awful sound. I know, isn't it?
Because you are, because sometimes you just don't get the connection. So you don't have hope.
Yes.
You just don't get, and today I got the connection at the first. So I was really happy.
And I waited for half an hour.
Yeah, I waited for half an hour and then ding.
Don't take it personally, folks. This is the principle of EI who rings CEF and gets the same sort of treatment. Don't take it personally. It is a problem. And of course, some foreigners, when they've got a SIM card from another country, they're thinking it's their fault or their problem or their phone company. It's just how it is, isn't it, with CEF at the moment? You're lucky to get through. Keep trying, everybody. I think we've got all the questions covered. There's a few comments that are coming in, but so we do have a few minutes left if you want to ask. And Kay Renee, heard nothing, just wishful thinking. We dealt with that. Oh, Chris is asking, are there any more Brexit requirements that the Portuguese government require from Brits in Portugal? What's been required so far is that you hand yourself in and get yourself a post-Brexit ID card and make sure you're legal here. Is there anything else that Brits might need to be aware of at this stage, Gilda?
No.
That's it. Just make yourself known. And so at some point they will draw a line, won't they? And come up with some other sort of legislation or force to have people registered. Because, I mean, there must be Brits in Portugal who've been here for years. And the longer they leave it, the less likely they are to do it, right? What do you think is going to happen with people in that condition?
I think that they already have a permanent residency here.
Okay, so they should just get online, go to the post-Brexit portal for CEF. I've done it. It's an easy process. So go do that, and there is nothing else to consider apart from that process at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Correct.
great. So there you go. The and recently celebrated the Treaty of Windsor earlier in May, the great relationship between the Brits and the Portuguese, of course, upon which that post-Brexit process, I believe it is based in some sort of tenuous way. Okay, panel, as we conclude and as we finish at 10 tonight, I'll do my best to finish on the dot. Really good input there, Ubi. It's best to have 3 houses in Portugal, not just the one. We're talking about sort of fantasy real estate here, and you will have one of your houses as the one you live in, because I imagine you live in beautiful houses, all 4 of you. If we could start with you, Elise, where would your other 2 houses be? If you, well, you've got another one, haven't you? So you've got
I have it already.
All right, where's the third one going to be?
I can tell you, I have one in the center of Lisbon, in the castle of Lisbon, let's say.
Wow.
We have one here in the center of Portugal, and we have one in Alcochete that is in front of the river.
Very
I
nice.
can speak about the other ones, okay? We only spoke about 3, right?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much indeed. Let's go to you, Nuno. Where are your 3 houses, fantasy or otherwise?
No, Alice will start laughing. So yeah,
Amadora.
The house that I'm constructing is in Amadora.
Nice.
Perfect.
But is nothing to do with Amadora. So yeah, maybe at least heard about Sky City. So it's where it is.
And your third dream home?
My third dream home. Oh, maybe a cave. You know that I'm
the Boy Scout in you.
I'm a bushman, so maybe a
Yes,
cave where I
okay.
can do my stuff
Wasn't
with wood
expecting
and
that. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, so Lisbon, Amadora, and then somewhere out in the bush somewhere. Not really a home, just a pile of sticks or well, there's a few sites like that. A pile of rocks you can still buy in central Portugal, I think. So thank you, Nuno, and have a great weekend. Lots of love to the whole family. Have a fantastic and memorable weekend, my friend. Daniel, your 3 dream homes.
Well, I would say Jerez up in the north.
Good choice.
Lisbon, of course, because it's my city, and I'm divided between Açores or the Algarve, but the Algarve more nearby Tavira than the other Algarve. So
The other
between
Algarve.
Madeira and Tavira, that would be the choice that I would have for the third home.
Yes, good, because Chris is saying he'd like to live in Burgão. Now, Burgão and Tavira are not a million miles apart, are they?
Yeah.
So a good choice there. Thank you, Daniel. We'll keep an eye together on Portuguese politics. Thank you for your input this evening. Queen of the Visas, 3 homes for you then. Where are they?
First, I'm a free soul. I don't like to get stuck in places.
How many do you want then?
Okay. I like to travel. I like to be in resorts, in hotels, in caravans, in trees. I don't like to be stuck in houses, especially if they are mine and I have to clean them and I have to cook.
You know what? I was just expecting everyone would say, okay, yeah, one in the north, one in the middle, one in the south.
No.
These are special people we're dealing with here. And that's why, I guess, the free spirit that you are, that's why you help people with visas and why you got into it. You're helping people around the world, aren't you?
Of course.
And from all over the world. Well, thank you for that.
No, but just because Chris mentioned Burgão, of course, it's a place that I go every year. It's a place that I like to go. It's a place that I love, and I would like to meet Chris in Burgão because we talk about Burgão for 3 years and we never met there. So
it sounds to me a lot like Chris is buying Gilda lunch in Burgão sometimes.
Yes, and he knows where.
Tiago Zeferino?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Marvelous. Great stuff. Brilliant. Thank you, Gilda, for that. I think we should let Jerry have a go at this, which of course will be 3 houses in central Portugal, right, Jerry?
Oh, well, no, I don't.
I'm sorry, Jerry. I'm sorry, Jerry. Don't forget that I have also a house in Angola where my parents live. So it's enough for me.
Okay, well, come and see you there sometime. Free spirit, good for you, Gilda, says Allegra as well. And Laurie Root, I've got to sneak in a quick question. Hola, Gilda, we'll come back to you, Jerry. My husband and I are working with Marianne. We're very happy. I wonder, my husband and I share a BPI bank account. Must we have 18,500 euros each in our account, or can one of us have a bit less? Just a quickie there.
Well, it depends. It depends on the full analysis of the case and the money that you have. But you can have a little bit less. You can have like the 18,000 and the second half of it. But it depends on the full analysis of the case, because if you don't have much of passive income, we always suggest to have for both 80,000 euros.
Another chat with Marianne, I think, tomorrow, Laurie. Feel free to check with Marianne on that and put your mind at rest. That's why you're using EI. They'd be very happy to have a chat with you about that. Kiran says, thank you very much for explaining the reunification thing. I hope they open the reunification slot soon. We do. And let me know when you're in Portugal, Gilda, and I will try and get there. So that lunch is good. Over to you, Jerry, then. Thank you, Gilda. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Nuno. Elise, great session tonight. Jerry, would it be 3 houses in central Portugal for you?
No, I'm not even sure it'd be 3 houses in Portugal, Carl. I think,
wow.
like Alice, I would like to have a place, a little studio place in Lisbon, maybe. To be able to go in and spend the night in Lisbon, have some wonderful food and some culture and so on, but then come back into the countryside. But in the same theme, I think the other place I'd have would be in London. The same reason, to be able to go to London, see a show, have dinner, and then get out of there. Right? That would be my dream.
And we had an idea, didn't we, with Expats Portugal to do a kind of a couch surfing thing. So let's get that sorted out so that we can go to Angola, we can go to London, we can go to Paris, and we'll get that all sorted. Elise, go on. You want to go to London?
Yeah, I agree with you, Harry, because we still have our apartment in the Netherlands. Sometimes we are going there to have what you just mentioned as well.
Yeah. Add Netherlands to that list of couch surfing opportunities, Expats Portugal.
But I also like Gilda. I like being in hotels. I certainly don't like being up trees or under canvas, Gilda. You can forget that. But give me a nice hotel. Give me a hotel breakfast. I'm there, and I like that part too. So that's how I'll deal with the Algarve and places like that.
No.
I did have a home.
To your man cave. Do you not?
I did have a home in Cabanas de Tavira, which is about 3 kilometers from Tavira. And I sold it. I wished I hadn't. I wish I'd kept it. But, we all wish that about property with hindsight, don't we?
Absolutely.
And I could be on a boat as well.
Oh, boat as well. My goodness.
I did own a boat as well, which I would have happily lived on.
This is just exploding now. Everyone, and Gail saying, and the wonderful posadas around the country, especially Guimarães. Yes, we can go and rent beautiful places around Portugal as well. So we are spoilt for choice. Yeah. I'm sure you'll join me, Jerry, in thanking our wonderful panel tonight. Elise, Nuno, Gilda, and Daniel.
Yes.
Over to you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And actually, on that theme of houses, we are hoping at some point to introduce some sort of house exchange program on Expats Portugal. So if people wanted to sort of exchange houses with someone they know and trust for 2 weeks or something, we might be able to do that. So something we're working on. Thank you very much indeed, panel. Thank you so much. And Nuno, I would like to add my congratulations. I hope you got your best man's, your father of the bride speech very well prepared. And I don't know about anybody else, but I haven't received my invitation yet. I presume it'll come tomorrow by courier or something. Okay?
No pressure.
Next week at 7:30 on Thursday, we'll be talking to Holden Assets about wealth management. And we often find that when we talk about wealth management, there's a requirement to have a lot of money to make it worthwhile for the investors to work on it. We're hoping we can do something a bit better than that and have smaller amounts and more realistic amounts of money for people to invest, and talk about how they might be able to sort of plan for some investment and some growth in Portugal. And of course, that will be followed at 9 p.m. Lisbon time by our wonderful dream team.
Great. Thanks, Jerry. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you all.